We talked about Dan Hurley a little bit and whether there was a number, and it sounds like there was, that the Lakers could have landed him. I want to read you some stuff that I found about the Lakers front office and organization. And I want you and especially Greg to react to this.
Okay.
This is Eric Pincus, who has covered the league for a long time. He says, quote, "The general opinion around the league is that the Lakers have a very frugal front office. The Clippers spare no expense with a massive staff, but the Lakers' sparse front office lacks common features such as a pro personnel department. Outside of the scouting department for the draft, LA doesn't have scouts spread throughout the league watching NBA talent on a nightly basis in person like other franchises." I'll ask you, is that true? Do they not have eyes on scouting around the league like other teams do?
They have scouts, but here's the thing, and Eric just fell into the trap too. I don't understand journalists, in this case Eric Pincus, they beat this drum all the time, trying to say that the Clippers are better run than the Lakers. The Clippers have never won anything.
Right.
Anything. And yet these guys get held up as a model franchise. The year the Lakers won the bubble title in 2020 was the year Kobe died. And Rob, I thought Rob was taking a leave of absence. He didn't.
Right.
Because, he was Gigi's godfather and Kobe's best friend. He leads the Lakers to the bubble title.
Right.
He gets one vote for executive of the year. They gave it to the guy from the Clippers, and the Clippers got blew a 3-1 lead anyway.
Right.
Why just give me your opinion on this. Why do people continue around the league to use the Clippers as an example of a well-run team when the goal is to win?
Right. The goal is to win. The point is to give somebody the resources to be able to be successful. The Clippers have layers and layers of management.
Right, but you just said it. The resources to be successful.
Right.
When have they been successful?
Well, I mean, here's the thing. The question isn't who's been more successful. The question is if you're a head coach.
Yeah.
And you look at and this is part of what Dan Hurley looked under the hood of the Lakers organization and said, "Nah, that's not the car I want to be driving."
Okay, which is fine. It's his choice.
Yeah.
But here's my point. Lift the hood on the Clippers, okay? You have Paul George and Kawhi Leonard who don't play.
Right.
Kawhi Leonard's the worst leader in the NBA because he doesn't talk.
But,
and yet, why are they cited, in this case Eric did it, why are they continuously cited as an example of a well-run franchise? If you want to tell me Oklahoma City or Boston or, the Warriors, you can use those. What's with the Clippers?
But tackle this sentence. Clippers spare no expense with a massive staff. Lakers' sparse front office lacks common features such as pro personnel department.
Okay. So,
is that fact?
I don't know.
The Clippers certainly have a more robust front office.
And
if you just Google it, they've got so many people.
What has it gotten them?
Well, no, that's not the question. If you're a coach,
no, of course,
if you're a coach and you're looking at a job,
right?
Do you want to work at the place that's got all the scouts and all the analytics and all the people and all the layers and all the smart guys, or do you want to work in a spot where you don't have as many resources? That's ultimately the question.
I have zero problem saying this. If you offered me the Lakers job and the Clippers job for exactly the same money, so I'm basing it on where I'm going, I'm taking the Lakers job 10 out of 10 times.
Right.
You really want to coach the Clippers where your two best players don't play, and they've made it to the finals 0 times. 0. Never been to the finals. Why are the Clippers cited as an example of a well-run franchise?
They are not cited in that way. They are cited as a team that spares no expense and has a massive staff. That is,
and what has it gotten them?
That is his point. It has nothing to do with wins, losses, whatever. Clippers, Lakers.
I would argue that Eric is making my point, that they spare no expense. They will hire any layer. You want a job at the Clippers?
They will spare no expense. That is correct.
Hired.
They're loaded.
They hired Lee Jenkins and made up some job for him, and he's been there for 5 years, and we love Lee.
Yeah.
I still don't know what he does.
Yeah.
I think they call him Director of Culture.
Okay.
Okay. They don't win.
Right. But what they are is they're like... Are they like the Dodgers with layers and layers of management?
But the Dodgers win.
Well, they don't win at all. They won in 2020, but they don't win at all.
But they've been to the World Series 3 times.
Yeah.
In the last, 6 years?
Right.
The Clippers have never been.
Right. But
Ever.
But if you get down to brass tacks, the Clippers have a bigger, more robust organization than the Lakers do.
And my question...
Eliminate the question. Is that true? Just yes or no, is that true?
The
Clippers have a more robust staff, front office, than the Lakers have.
I don't know what those guys at the Clippers do.
Well, I mean, obviously, you collect all the smart guys. This is what Andrew Freeman does. You collect all the smart guys.
But
Nothing
Andrew Freeman
yet.
wins.
Nothing yet. The question is, in this league where resources like that are uncapped, can the Lakers be competitive? And I want to, before you jump on that, let me just read something. This is from Anthony Irwin. Regardless, one major takeaway from how this played out is a hit to the Lakers' reputation in coaching circles. Sources say the Lakers are seen as a skeleton crew that does not provide its coaches with enough resources.
If that's true, I can see why they're having a problem finding a coach. But the Lakers win, and most other franchises don't. The Lakers and the Celtics are light years ahead of every other team in terms of conference finals appearances. LeBron wouldn't play for the Clippers. He just wouldn't. No. But you say the Clippers are the model organization.
Don't put words in my mouth.
You just tried to make that argument.
Look, you can make an argument without the Clippers do have a bigger front office than the Lakers. Period. End of story. Fact.
So if that's period, end of story, fact, why does LeBron refuse to play for the Clippers? And
no clue why LeBron or if LeBron or anything.
Right.
Do you have first-person knowledge that LeBron has said, I will not play for the Clippers?
Yes.
LeBron has said publicly, I will not play for the Clippers.
I don't know if it's publicly, but someone very close to him has said it to me.
So privately, you are saying LeBron says
he won't go to the Clippers.
That he will not go to the Clippers. Well, I don't necessarily disagree with that. I don't know why he would. But the question is, who's got a more robust front office? And there's no question that the Clippers do.
So I would question all of that.
Just Google it. Look at the number of people that work at each place. One has a lot of people and one does not.
Greg, what do you think here? Mason's point is the Clippers will hire anybody and spare no expense and get a staff of 30.
That is true.
And what good does that do?
They'll build their own building. They'll build a stadium, all that stuff.
And what do they get for it?
You both are saying the right things. The Lakers is a better franchise overall.
Of course.
What Mason is saying is that they have Steve Ballmer, you say it all the time. Why is Ty Lue not going to go somewhere else? Because Steve Ballmer will just open up his paycheck and give him whatever he wants to make sure he has the best coach that's out there to be the coach of the Clippers. That's what the point is. So I see what Mason's talking about, and he's actually right in that sense, and so is Eric Pincus. The Lakers are saying that we'll give you 6 years for $70 million when Steve Ballmer would have given him $100 million.
Yeah, take the Ty Lue.
Right.
The Lakers wouldn't add the year to Ty Lue's deal, I assume, because they didn't want to have to buy him out after they fired him.
I was told, first of all, I was told it's 2 years. Ty was looking for 5. They offered him 3.
So they only offered him 3 years?
They did. But I was told the sticking point was assistance. And I'm curious what you think about this. On one hand, I think, personally, it's important for the Lakers to have some experience on the bench, preferably somebody who's been a head coach before, especially if they hire a guy like J.J. Redick.
Right.
On the other hand, the reason Ty Lue walked away is they told him, we want to give you guys on your bench like Lionel Hollins, like Frank Vogel, who have been experienced NBA head coaches. We want to build this council of elders. And Ty Lue said, I'm not coming unless I can pick my own assistants. And so that was the rub.
But on top of that, coaches don't sign for 3 years. They're three. I mean, are there 3-year deals for coaches, or are they mostly 4 or 5? I think they're mostly 4 or 5 year deals around the league.
You ducked the question,
which is,
should the coach just no questions asked, be able to pick his own assistants, or should the team be able to say, no, we want a guy with?
Well, I think it's ridiculous and stupid and wrong-headed for the Lakers to try to shove coaches down Ty Lue's throat.
So you are okay with having no veteran assistants on the bench?
I am okay with the head coach who you are entrusting the franchise to.
In this case, J.J. Redick. If they hire J.J. Redick, he should be able to hire his own assistants, and the Lakers have no say.
J.J. Redick is in a different category because he's down one championship to Ty Lue. Ty Lue had already won a championship. Ty Lue, as a champion, should be able to pick his own assistants. I'm not saying that's the case with J.J. Redick, who's coming straight from a set.
What if that's the deal breaker?
What if
J.J. says, I'm coming, but I'm picking my own assistants, and the Lakers say, no, you've never been a head coach. We're going to put guys like Scott Brooks or J.B. Bickerstaff or somebody that's been a head coach, so you have somebody there. JJ says, if I can't pick my assistants, I'm not coming.
Who's to say that JJ wouldn't take former head coaches, though? Why would
well, that's what I'm saying.
he would, if he wants to choose his own guys, he chooses former head coaches.
What I'm trying to get to is it an absolute thing that whoever you hire as the head coach should be able to pick his own assistants?
Well, I think so.
I personally...
So if JJ...
Autonomy. You should have absolute autonomy as the head coach.
So if JJ Redick here's what happened with Darvin. Darvin hired all of his friends.
Right.
Okay? Here's what happened with Luke. Luke hired all of his friends.
Well, those are terrible moves by Darvin and Luke.
But what you're saying is Greg just said he wants to give it to Redick.
Right.
Let Redick hire whoever he wants. Autonomy. Why? It doesn't work.
Well, in the case of J.J. Redick, I'm not sure that it necessarily works because J.J. Redick literally is going to take a headset off and wind up on an NBA bench, potentially. We don't know that to be the case. But, so I put that in a different category than Ty Lue. You won a championship, but we're going to tell you who your coaches are going to be, and we're only going to give you a 3-year contract. They cheaped out on Ty Lue.
I agree with that, but what the question is, what should they do now?
Correct.
If they are hiring J.J. Redick, do you give him the right to hire his own assistants? No questions asked.
I would imagine that's a collaboration.
But
would you not?
That's
so you're saying that's not a choice.
There's no room to collaborate.
Either Rob
here.
picks all the coaches or JJ picks all the coaches.
Either the Lakers can tell him we're putting veteran assistants who have head coaching experience on your bench.
Right.
Or you get to pick them all.
What if JJ naturally wants to bring in his own former whatever coach he's clicked with over the years, who happens to have been a head coach?
Well, but was it totally JJ's decision? That's what I'm trying to get to. Would you give him carte blanche to pick all his assistants, or would you insist that you have a say?
I think a head coach has got to have say.
Well, the last 3 coaches they've had brought in all their friends.
Well, those are terrible coaches then.
But I'm saying, why would you let that happen again?
You're saying Darvin just brought in his coaches. He didn't hire the best people. Luke didn't hire the best people. He just brought in friends.
Correct. He brought in people he could trust.
Well, these are terrible coaches. Why didn't somebody stop the Darvin thing when it happened?
Wait a minute. You just said you would let JJ do it.
I would let JJ do it.
So there you go. You're letting JJ do what Darvin and Luke did. Right?
Well, I would hope JJ's smarter than to just bring in his buddies like Darvin and Ham did,
but you just gave
like
him,
Luke Walton did.
Con.
This is the first time I've ever heard that Darvin and Luke just brought in friends and not necessarily the best coaches for their coaching staff. That's nuts.
Isn't there a middle ground in here somewhere?
Of course there is. There's like
a conversation.
Like, hey, Rob, how do you feel about Scott Brooks? Rob, how do you feel about James Borrego?
Right. It doesn't
there is a conversation
one or the other.
Sure it does. When push comes to shove, do I get to hire my own assistants or do you? You're Rob Pelinka. I'm J.J. Redick. Do I get to hire my assistants or do you?
What does LeBron want?
According to Rob Pelinka, how you're putting it, I would say no. It's my decision.
Okay.
I'm deciding who is going to.
Yeah,
be
I don't think
that you can't do it that way.
Right. If you were going to shove coaches down Ty Lue's throat, you're certainly going to try to shove coaches down J.J. Redick's throat because he hasn't done it before. So I would imagine that could be the deal breaker for J.J. J.J. must. He could potentially say, of all the jobs in all the world, this might be the one that I last the least amount of time in, so I'm going to wait for another gig. And if that's the case, then he's not the right guy for the job.
Yeah, I don't think it's a fait accompli that it's J.J. Redick.
No, it's clearly not. I mean, Woj says if he has a good interview, he could be in the forefront.
Yeah, I think
I think
it's possible, definitely, but I don't think it's a lock.
All right, we're going to do some sports graffiti. We've